How are you guys doing tonight?
Yeah.
I'm very glad that that song wasn't being played louder because that was depressing. I got a really special announcement for you guys today. I, Tyler Shepard, have in fact created the world's very first fair basis of segregation. All right, some of you passed the test, and I guess the rest of you are maybe a little confused, thinking like, what was wrong with the last one? But it's simple. I think we can split the world into two distinct groups. Group one, I call them the Helens. This is the group that most of you would be in, 85–90%. This is the good group. And the reason this group is called the Helens is because if you're in this group and you happen to be watching TV, a movie or something, and your parents are in the room with you, if the characters on the TV start having sex, you turn into Helen Keller for 30 seconds. Your dad looks over at you and you're like, I swear, Dad, I can't see or hear any of this right now. And the second group, I call them the psychos. If you're in this group, it means that same situation. If you're watching TV and your parents are in the room next to you and the sex scene comes on, instead of faking dead like a normal person would do, you just pretend like it's National Geographic. Your dad will look over at you and you'll just be staring at the TV screen shamelessly, like it's like it's nature. It's just the cycle of life, you know. But yeah, like any, simply put, the way this works is if you're in the psycho group, you go straight to jail. If you don't feel uncomfortable watching sex on TV with your parents next to you, then what wouldn't you do? But like any reasonable oppressor, I put myself in the best group. Yeah, I'm Helen. I actually am. I had to be growing up. Every TV that my family's ever bought has been a compulsive exhibitionist. Back in high school, my parents would leave for the night. I'd have the house all to myself. You know how it is. I'd look at myself in the mirror a little bit. I'd just be like, Ferb, I know what we're gonna do tonight. Watch an ungodly amount of Netflix alone like a loser. So that's what I'd do. I'd sit down, I'd waste 3 hours of my life waiting for two characters who obviously like each other to like kiss or even hold hands. And the very instant that they start getting hot and heavy, my mom will appear in the doorway every single time. I'm like, what the fuck? She'll look at me, she'll just be like, Tyler, what the hell are you watching? And I'm like, let's talk about you, Mom. How was your night? When did you learn how to teleport like that? You shouldn't be doing that when I'm in the house alone. No. And none of that will land. It never works. So I'll switch to plan B. I'll just be like, Mom, I swear, I don't even like sex. I just like homework and chores, you know? And she won't have any of that. She's just like, well, since you like chores so much, how about you go clean your room? Pick up that damn sock. But college is great, because in college, everybody's a psycho. You can watch anything, nobody cares. My roommates, they like the show Euphoria. And I walked into the living room the other day, they were watching it, a sex scene came on, we just all sat down and enjoyed looking at the TV like, so that's what it must be like. I don't really watch the show, I don't get what it's all about. As far as I understand, it's like just sex and depression. But people seem to love it. Like, I guess people didn't know, like, depressed people had sex before. Which, like, how do you think you were born? Everybody seems kind of, like, depressed these days, though. Like, you see stuff about it everywhere. I'll be on Instagram scrolling through stories, and people will just be posting, like, depression advice and mental health advice. And, you know, like, I think all that's important. I think it's good. People are getting the help they need, but posting depression advice on Instagram is like having an AA meeting in a bar. There you go. Yeah. Some of you were a little slow, sorry. But yeah, people I guess decided now that we need days for everything too. So now like we got like mental health awareness days and depression awareness days. And I feel like if you're depressed, like you probably don't need a reminder. Like the goal is trying to forget, like that's what it's all about. And I don't know, every time one of these days comes around, I just can't help but imagine like somewhere out there's just someone that's practically like a depression sleeper cell, you know, they forgot and they were living life happy as hell for a couple of days and they're like, you know what, like today I'll see what my friends are doing on Instagram, and they'll pull out their phone, scroll for a little bit, and then they'll see it and they'll just be like, shit, I knew I forgot something. But I'm gonna be honest, like I feel like the solution to all this is just to make a social media that's exclusively for depressed people. And no, I'm not talking about Yik Yak. This would be great though, like think about it. Like you go on there one day, you see like the kid that used to bully you in middle school on there, sent you a friend request, and you look at it and you start getting all like emotional. You're just like, wow, like he really just was only being mean to me that whole time because of his own insecurities. Delete. I ran some of these jokes by some of my friends who happened to be depressed as I was writing them. They assured me that it was all good. They were like, yeah, it's not gonna make us more depressed. That was their exact response. And so we were just having conversations. I asked them like how they deal with being depressed, and I guess they thought it would be funny to gaslight me. They were just like, yeah, well, if you have depression, you know, like it's hard to get up some days, you just want to stay in bed. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I do that. And then they were like, yeah, like some days you just forget to eat and you just go with nothing all day long. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Like I'm skinny, I don't eat all the time. Cool, whatever. And then they were like, sometimes you just, you know, like you seek approval from other people in order to make yourself feel better. And I was like, phew, thank God, I thought you guys were talking about me for a second there. Like, oh. And then they hit me, they were just like, sometimes you just feel like your life is like amounting to absolutely nothing and you can't do anything right. And I was just like, you motherfuckers. Stop talking about me. And they assured me, they were like, no, we swear, we're not talking about you, like all this is true. And so I was like, okay, well, like if some of these like symptoms are so like vague, how do you tell the difference between someone who's like, you know, like really going through something deep and then someone who's just like having a bad couple days? And my one friend took me to the side, he was like, yeah, so like if you're confused, like the next time you're having a conversation like that with someone, ask them like when they first knew that they were depressed. So I did it. A couple weeks ago, I was back at my house, back home, and I was talking to someone who's very close to me, and she was very adamantly telling me just about how miserable she'd been the past couple days. And I was like, well, slow down. Like, before we get into this any further, like when did you first realize that like this might be a thing? And she looked me dead in the eyes, and this is exactly what she said. She said, Tyler, I realized it was a fucking thing when I had to clean that sock from your room. That's all I got for you guys.